Hello, everyone, and good evening from wherever you are. This is Brother Benson, and I'm here with Makobura. Makobura Barigani.
Yes, good evening. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Everything is okay.
Yes.
Nashukuru.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siku yako imekuwa aje?
I had a fantastic day.
Yeah.
Of course, at times it's not as easy. It was. I had so many things that I was
Oh,
working and following up on.
yeah.
But above all, I'm okay.
Mhm.
And everything is okay.
Thank you so much. And to our viewers, thank you so much. You can tell us how your day was and all that is taking place. I have few observation to put before we go into our main discussion, especially how can we mend the relationship now between the police and the public, based on the fact that there's so many things that have really happened, especially in the public. Looking at how the police has really um, acted with the people when they were protesting. Not only this protest, but for the longest time, we've always had issues whereby everybody is talking about the police brutality, abductions, excessive force by the police. So we are just looking at it and say that how can we mend those so that it can be well with the public. And even like majority of the politicians, when cases like this happen, none of them talk about the police. You find like, okay, it's the blame game of the police doing this. But there's so many things also that we have to look at. The police are going through, we cannot say all of them are bad, but like there are those who are doing a great job. There's also some here that also president said, I don't know whether to read. I quote, I want to ensure the monies are available, and I am the one who plans the budget. And after that, I tell MPs to pass it. Now the work is with the work is with your MP. When the bill come in parliament, let them pass it. That is what the president is saying. Um, that is one. Maybe you can make a comment after that. And then another thing is also the Secretary General of Jubilee. I just read somewhere. I don't know whether it is true. Has dismissed the claims that the Right Honorable Prime Minister was saying that the former President Uhuru Kenyatta made a call to him. So that's also is there, and is something that we will be following up keenly, especially when we get the real information. So back to you, Mr. Makobura.
Okay, thank you. I think first you've asked about three questions. Let me first uh, give my remarks, especially on this issue of the police. The police.
Yeah,
First, the issue of excessive force
yeah,
that we are seeing within the police when they are handling the protest. It is
mhm,
something that is against the law. And maybe if we can look at the function of the police,
yeah,
uh, Kenya, I think their core function is to maintain is maintenance of law and order,
mhm,
preservation of peace, protection of life and property, prevention and detection of crime, apprehension of offenders, and enforcement of all laws and regulations with which it has been charged.
yeah,
So, in brief, that is the function of the police. And when we look at this function of protecting life and property,
yeah,
it uh, it's connected with what the Constitution says about human rights.
mhm,
Life is a precious gift that is given by only God. It is one thing that we really have to protect.
yeah,
So the main role of the police officer actually, as much as they're supposed to maintain law and order, so
yeah,
that issues with life, loss of life should not be should not be there. But again, life, the constitution gives the people of Kenya that right, as much as actually it's a right from God that we have to exist. And so the police should just use their power, the power they've
Yes.
been given to protect the lives. They are not supposed to kill. But the Kenyan police have a long-standing issues with the use of excessive force, which is deeply connected and embedded in their culture.
Mm-hmm.
Officers are often reported to treat citizens with suspicion, leading to a prevalence of abuse of power. We've seen that so many times, to an extent that the police sometimes they just beat, especially during these demonstrations, they
Yeah.
just to beat citizens who are simply not even harmed,
Yeah.
citizens who are just expressing their their grievances, but the
Yep.
police ends up beating them, and this has bring issues of suspicion. And again, not just that, sometimes you see police officers, they get, maybe they're just strolling or going through their duty, and then they
Mm-hmm.
just go to someone who is just very innocent, then they start looking at that person like someone who maybe has done something wrong. So the issue of suspicion,
Yeah.
uh, the police have, especially when they're interacting with some citizens, it has also widens the mistrust that we see between the citizens and and the police. So issues like bribery, uh,
Mm.
issues like wrongful accusations and physical misconduct
Yeah.
are among the things that we've been seeing. The police trying to accuse the citizens. Sometimes they do accuse people who are not actually guilty. People who are very innocent. So the misuse of authority by the police has historically
Yeah.
resulted in violence against civilians, contributing to public distrust and concerns regarding human rights. Remember, in 2008, 2007, 2008, the police leaders were among the people who were accused of killing so many people.
Yeah.
And we remember their leaders, some of them were even had cases with the ICC. And again, when we come to 2013, 2017, 2022, even this latest demonstration,
Mm-hmm.
among the deaths that we saw in the Republic, actually, they were caused by the police officers. And it is so unfortunate because the police has, the people of Kenya has a right to live. The police has to ensure that life is protected
But
first.
Makobura,
Yes.
you know, I agree with everything that you are saying. But now, based on what has happened, even with all the accusations that now not accusation, but some of them are very real, like police brutality. We have excessive of force. We have the bribes that you talk about, and remember, these are happening in the society where we live with the police. Yeah, and now all those that you've mentioned has created this rift between the Kenyan citizen, majority of them, with the police. And remember, no one lives in an island. All of us are staying in Kenya at some point. We will, at some point, or all the times, we need the assistance in terms of the security. So many things that we need from the police. But how then can we decide? How then can we have a conversation whereby we mend that relationship? Because there are those who, when they see the police, it's like you've seen your enemy. They don't want anything to do with the police. Remember, even the victims of this violence. I don't know whether you've had an opportunity even to watch some of the interviews that have been done by their parents. You could see the hunger and that hatred that comes from them and say like I don't know what to do. But not only them, there are quite a number. and we are in this society together. What can we do, especially as a society or as a country, so that we can bridge that gap of hatred between the police and the public, and the Kenyan citizen? Because at the end of the day, we are here all together. What can really happen if
Maybe before I get into that,
yeah,
it is right to speak first about the implications. I
yeah,
mean, the human rights implications of police violence in Kenya. You know, life, we all have a right to live.
true.
And I think that is the most important thing that we should always be looking at first. But the human right implications, yeah, I'm saying that we all have a right to live, and that is the core responsibility that the police should always ensure that they protect. But you know, in Kenya, the implication of police violence in Kenya are significant, and they are also multi-faced. And this is also affecting individuals and communities and even the rule of law, to an extent that we see police officers sometimes not following the rule of law. And maybe among the implications that we've been seeing is we've seen people's right being violated. That is the violation of right to life. We've always seen instances where excessive force by the police has led to extrajudicial killings, and this actually violates the right to life, because you know, as a people, the constitution is very clear that the right to life is something that is within the Kenyan law and even the international human rights. It is also there. So the police has the first role of ensuring that everyone is safe. When it comes to physical integrity, we've seen so many instances where police brutalities, including beatings and torture, infringes on individual rights to physical integrity and security. We've seen so many times that survivors often suffer long term physical and psychological effects.
Mhm.
We've seen so many people not even able to recover. Some of them get permanent, uh, actually gets to a level that the disability that they've gotten out of that makes them to not be able to provide and to meet their daily needs. We've also seen instances where freedom from torture and human treatment, where the use of excessive force uh, involves torture or even cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, violating both. This is violating both domestic laws and international treaties, like conventions against torture. You know,
Yeah.
in Kenya, there's so many laws that we've signed as a country.
Mhm.
And the reason why we do sign these treaties is
Mhm.
that when we sign these international treaties, we confirm to the whole world we respect life. We
Yeah.
confirm to the whole world that anyone who visits Kenya, they will be treated equally and that their life would be safe. So the moment you see police officers
Mhm.
killing, even going against what we had signed with the international treaties, as a country, we may lose so many things. We may even be listed among those countries where life is not respected. And you've seen so many times whenever we're having demonstration or anything is planned in the republic,
Mhm.
the US always tells their citizens, for example, not to go to specific places. Whenever we see this consistency in countries telling their citizens not to visit other places,
Yeah.
that tells you that there's something that we are lacking as a country. And with consistency in that, the country loses so many things.
Okay.
So the police actually should look into how they do that. We've also seen issues to do with impunity. The culture of impunity within the police force undermines justice and accountability. When police officers are not held accountable, of their actions, it erodes public trust in law enforcement and justice system. Maybe to explain on that, we've seen so many people were killed the other day, but we've not seen or heard that there's any police officer who was even uh, arrested or called to give a statement. That actually erodes the belief that we have in the police officers to an extent that whenever we have problems within ourselves, we will
Mhm.
never actually understand, be able to approach the police officers so that we explains to them what is going on, and that you know the role of the NIS.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do send people around who work to try get some information. If they continue not to held accountable police officer who do the killing, there's this possibility where whenever people see either police officers, they'll never express themselves, and the
Mhm.
people need this secret service, they will never understand the people and even their behavior. So this mistrust that we are seeing, it is caused by uh, it looks like police are above the law, and that is what the people are trying to say, that from this kind of behavior that we see them police officers killing civilians and there's no any action that is taken, it
Mhm.
erodes the closeness that the citizen has and even the relationship that the citizen has with the police officers.
So,
And then
now, the way you've said that one, so how can we mend that so that, or how can we find a way in that, so in the society we are integrated, so we have that cohesion between the public and the police officers?
uh, the police, actually the good thing is everything is in the constitution,
Hmm.
and whatever I've mentioned, there's
Hmm.
a way constitution says that this is what how you should deal with this and this.
Hmm.
For example, when people were going for these demonstrations, there
Yeah.
was a clear way in which the police would have used to handle the whole demonstration.
Yeah.
You know very well, if you followed the demonstration, the young people came out to demonstrate. I mean, whenever they saw that they were being blocked either by the police officer or they were being tear gassed, that actually motivates and angered them to get out of the street. And that's a
Mhm.
fact. In situation where police were very peaceful, we've seen that demonstrators were also very peaceful. The only thing they were doing is walking around, chanting, or reminding the people in leadership that they are not happy with what was going on. But again, when we saw places where police were using excessive force, of course, the people are also getting back. They were also trying to protect themselves. And so the police, in short, they are not supposed to
Mhm.
use excessive force. They are not supposed
Yeah.
to use live bullets, because whenever they use live bullets, this angers the people who are demonstrating, and that gives them the morale to come back and fight for their right. Because whenever someone has been killed, we believe that that person, of course, that is injustice. So that is one thing that when people are going back, they will have to, that will anger them to continue being aggressive in fighting for their right. Again, whenever tear gas is being thrown to people who are very peacefully, people who are being doing the demonstration in a peaceful manner,
Mhm.
if that tear gas is thrown to them, of course, it angers them because they ask themselves, which constitution are we then using? Because the constitution says that anybody who is doing a peaceful demonstration, actually the police should protect them and work with them. But that
Mhm.
is not the case. So, in short, the police sometimes they forget their role and then they start provoking the citizens. But again, I'm not the citizens as well, they sometimes provoke the police officers. So it is something, a discussion that the people should have. I mean, people should be educated on how to behave, especially when they are going for this demonstration. And again, the police should also be reminded and taken back to class so that they be treated on how they should be handling protesters. We saw people demonstrating in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
No one was actually killed. So that
Mm-hmm.
tells you that those people, they know what it means to follow the constitution. It also tells you that they know what the constitution speaks about a right to life. So sometimes we tend to forget what
Mm-hmm.
really is there for us.
Okay, Makobura. Also, maybe if you can also weigh your thought, because um, sometimes when we go for protest, I think there's this inbuilt that both the protesters and the police are putting in mind, because both the two camps are coming knowing that very well that we are coming for war. It is a war, so people are very much prepared. Is either way the police will throw the tear gas at the peaceful protesters, and the same way the protesters also will provoke the police. At what
I think
point should we balance the equilibrium so that both the parties know that, okay, we are going for protest, you know so that um,
uh,
we have the same, we are selling at the same pace.
the problem we've been having in the republic is that whenever people are going for demonstration, they tend to lose the focus, or they tend to lose the whole meaning of why they are going for demonstration.
Yeah.
The police also does the same, because the people says, some people gets out of their house to go for demonstration, knowing in
Mhm.
mind that they are going to fight with the police. The
Yes.
police also gets out from where they are, knowing very well that they are going to fight the city. I mean the demonstrators. So this is where the problem is coming, because uh, if we, for example, if I give you an example of what was happening the other day, the people are demonstrating because of so many things. One, there was high cost of living, there was the issue of finance bill, there was the issue of corruption. And so there are those people who got out of their places, going to the streets to remind the government that they are dissatisfied with the high cost, the level of high corruption, the finance bill,
Mhm.
and everything. But again, within them, there are those people who got out with another intention, that they are going because the police will be trying to stop, or to stop them from doing that. They
Yeah.
get out of their homes knowing that they are going to fight the police. So whenever a group of people having conflicting or different opinions, if they get out of that place, of course they will have, some of them would not behave the right way, and that is where the police then comes in. The police then would not know that these are people with genuine intentions, these are people with wrong intentions. So that is where the challenge comes. But again, the police should also try to know, because it is easy to know that this is someone with good intention, this is people with bad intention. Uh,
um th- Thank you.
that's
let,
my
let me let me
yeah.
let me play for you a video here, and about the same police on how they can handle the crowd or de-escalate the situation. And then I know also you have another one. Then we can see on how even how communication sometimes can help to bridge the gap between the protesters and the police. Let me see what is here. This is for 2000, 200, you know.
Kwa nini tuchukue mikono kazi ya mtu mwingine tuweze kuifanya? Sasa na hii Kenya tumeijenga kwa muda mrefu. Kwa nini tunataka kujaribu in one day? Hey.
Makobura, if you listen to that short clip, that was in 207, and during 207 post-election violence, and it was very, 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 very bad and huge. Remember, people lost their lives. And what happened with the police officer? What he did, he communicated to the crowd, and from the look of things, if you watch the entire video, you will see that the crowd was there listening, and he was making sense. That is what to say, and it 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 has shown you the power of speaking and information and understanding the crowd. What do you make of that?
I want to say this. I'm a Kenyan. I've been in Kenya, and I know how Kenyans behave.
Yeah.
Kenyans are, I think, they are nice people. Kenyans are the only people that if you want to engage them in a way that is like you're being in a truthful manner or in a truthful way, they will always hear you. They
Yeah.
will always understand what you're saying, and they will always do as per your instruction, especially when you're a leader. We've seen so many instances. For example, when the people, Kenyans invaded the parliament of the Republic of Kenya, of course, they found some members of parliament, of which some of them had said yes for the to the finance bill. What did they do? For example, these member of parliament who had a disability. Instead, because they were angered with the all finance bill, what did they do? They escorted these members of parliament to a safer place, meaning the humanity in the people of Kenya is high. Another thing, if if the demonstrations were going on, you remember there's a time the Nairobi commander, it's called Bungei, when he
Yeah.
got when he walked to the streets and found the people, then he started speaking to them that they should be peaceful, that they should follow the law. What did they do? Instead of beating him or doing anything that was wrong, they embraced him and they all understood. I mean, they all gave an ear to him and they listened to him and they even celebrated him, and they said that at least he's came to the ground and he has understood, he has interacted, and that was nice. You've seen so many instances when the people, I mean the army, were out of the street. What did they do? They didn't even do anything that was wrong. They did not even get out of their their vehicles to to try uh, dispersing the people. Instead, they were quiet and they were engaging the people. What did the people do? The people were very much happy, and they even escorted them dancing and singing and telling them how nice they were. If
Hmm.
the police officers were behaving in the same way, if the
Yeah.
police were acting as good leaders, I'm telling you, the kind of deaths that we've been seeing in the streets, we would not be seeing them. If the police were listening to the people, talking, speaking to the people, um, hearing from the people, and also, uh, giving them an ear. I'm telling you, the people of Kenya would not be explosive. They will not be destroying properties the way we've been seeing. And
So
that, not just that,
which means what we are lacking, especially in the police force, is communication. How do you communicate
it is.
with the
Yeah,
people? You know,
yeah.
and maybe
Kenyans are smart.
yeah, they believe in the power of the tear gas and the rungus, and they feel that that is the best way that you can solve the issues that are affecting Kenyans. Even that's how
Yeah,
they can speak with the protesters, which is not the case, because I believe this. Now I agree with you, because I believe there's no Kenyan who can just start and come to the street and
yeah,
without an informed decision. There must be something that is pushing a Kenyan to go to the street. So and it is upon you, the police officer, even is upon also to the demonstrator, also to find how can we communicate, so that what we are pushing for can get its way to where it should be, whereby we are not losing their lives. Because it is always very difficult, especially for our parents, especially those when their sons goes to protest. No any other parent is sitting home peacefully before seeing their children's back, because like each one of them knows very well that my son has gone, I don't think whether he will be coming back alive. So I think if we can create a very good atmosphere and bridge that hatred gap, and in terms of knowing on how we can communicate well, that this is what we are going to do and this is what is required of us, then we can be at a good place whereby we go for protest without any
yeah.
of our family members
Maybe,
or our brothers losing their lives.
yeah, maybe to add on something. Uh, most of times when I do visit these police post or police stations,
Yeah.
personally, I've had a good interaction with the police officers. But I don't know. The moment they get out of this police post, when they're outside, they become like they seriously change. When you go to visit them, they're nice people. They'll speak to you. But the moment they're outside, they become too tough to an extent that even approaching them to have a discussion with them sometimes is tough. But we've seen so many leaders. You remember the current governor of Trans Nzoia,
Yeah.
Bwana Natembeya. As
Mm-hmm.
much as it's a tough guy, remember most of time he managed to at least bring together the families that kept on fighting in the Rift Valley region, and he would sit with them, and he would ask them, "What is the problem? Huh? Where is the problem?" I think if you if the police officers would embrace this kind of dialogue where you have a dialogue with the people, because I was actually reading the comments of one of our follower, a good friend of this channel, Mr. Jakagwena.
Yeah.
Yes, as much as he has written this in another language,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe to translate it to the viewers, Mr. Jakagwena is saying that civil education should be done and the people of Kenya should be educated so that they understand
Mm-hmm.
uh, their role as a people and even the role of the police officers. The
Yeah.
police officers also, according to his statement, should be educated so that they know their role, and they should also accept the fact that, know the fact that the citizens are their employer. So the moment they use excessive force, they would be they would be having issues with their employers. But again, he's also saying the relationship between the police officers
Mm-hmm.
and the citizen is not, it's not it's not good. And he's saying that we need to have a working system of which if you kill all of them,
Yeah.
uh, like we need to have a working system. If you kill all of them, you will have a country. Like he's trying to say that if, for example, with the police officers, they've been given power, of course, and he's trying to say that should the police officers then get out to maybe kill the citizens, it means that we will not have a country because the citizen makes a country. So in short, there should be people of Kenya should be educated. They should be taught on how to live with the police officers, and that the police officers should also know that we are all Kenyans and that we are brothers and sisters. And whenever the issues that we are differing, of course, the role is more elaborated. We should always have a discussion to see on how to solve the whole thing. Me,
Okay.
from where I sit,
Up.
actually, if the
Uh-huh.
police wanted to stop the whole demonstration, they would have managed by simply talking to the people. If
Mm-hmm.
if truly they didn't want to see issues to do with death, from their post they would have been sent to the street to just simply talk to the citizen. In a situation, sometimes I do see US or other countries, whenever the demonstration, the police officers are given these microphones and then they address the people that let us do this, let us do this. Such kind of things are things that we should be seeing in Kenya. Let the police officers, instead of them throwing tear gas and everything, let them walk with those whatever microphones or whatever, and then speak to the people and listen to the people and ask the people, how do you want us to do it? What should we do? That way, I think it would be nice. We don't be ending up killing, seeing so many people dead.
Okay, but I agree with you because, like, if you listen to those sound devices, they will tell you, okay, now the place where you are is maybe is a no-go area. Now you warn them in prior. You're warning them prior before they step. No, now this place is a place that you cannot go past this place. This is the end of the place. If you do this, it will force us to use some mechanism on how to control the crowd, which doesn't
In that
happen.
situation, actually, if
Yeah,
someone then erodes or breaks
yeah,
the law, Maybe
Then
if they came, maybe they can have something to say that we told them not to cross this. But in a situation where people are just being killed and not told not to do this or this, let us not assume. Let them act and do what is right.
yeah, we are not saying this is something that we should we it's a it should be a cocktail of everything. Everybody should be involved,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, Makobura, we will
We all
lead
can.
we are all Kenyans. We will lead
Mhm.
the our
And
men and
you know,
women in uniform. We have to need them,
I
because yeah,
I wanted to add on something.
yeah,
Actually, the comment of my brother here has reminded me of something that if you remember the time the police officers were being taken to Haiti,
yeah,
and if you remember the time the parliament, when the parliament gave them the what, the go ahead to go
mhm,
to Haiti. If you clearly remember, there were like people were really celebrating and saying that let them go, wametuchosha. Let them go and face the real gangs because they've been treating us like gangs over here. If you went through the comments of the people, most Kenyans really were not, as much as this was something that instead of protecting their, I mean, the police or giving comments that would stop them from going, majority of them just were writing how frustrated they are with the police officers, how
mhm,
bad the police officers have been treating them, and that they should now go deploy all those whatever in Haiti. So that tells you that in a situation that even the citizens are not wishing the police officers, I mean, good,
good, yeah,
yeah, that is not a good thing. So the police officers, they should be taught and they should redeem themselves by their acts on how they handle the people, so that because citizens are the majority. Whenever the citizens have a negativity towards a specific maybe towards the police, that
mhm,
tells you that the police are the people who are on the ground, they interact with the people and they help the people in power to govern. Whenever the citizens are not having good relationship with them,
yeah,
that tells you that even the running of the government would not
mhm,
be fair, would not be right,
yeah,
because situation where everyone is just a gang or everyone is does not even believe on that law that those people are trying to enforce, it
and
really
at some point, even though we point out, but at some point also we have to appreciate so much the men and women in uniform, because most of them
very true.
they've given their life to protect us
It,
and
it
protect the
is
many.
true.
They put their lives
May-
in there for, you know but at some point, that's why, like I said, that it is about that time that, okay, let's have a conversation. As you mentioned, when some were deployed to Haiti, you find like, even though some people were commenting that, I mean, they were commenting it based on the fact that during that time there's so much that was going on in the country, but deep inside their hearts, I don't think they were very happy, because, you know the police officers, these are human beings. They have families. Some of them are our uncles, some of them are our brothers, some of them are our sons, some of them are our daughters. So that
Friends, yeah,
family part of it, we need also to have a feeling for them and say that, okay, they've not done well in some areas, but in some areas they've done well. Just look at the just concluded Olympics.
yeah,
There were some
yeah,
police officers
true.
who were there.
Yeah, so maybe I should also we had touched on the negativity side, but
Yeah.
again on the positive side, it is true that the police have they've done a recommendable work. They are always outside to ensure that we are protected, especially during the day and night.
Mhm.
In Nairobi, especially here in Nairobi, there's so many gangs because there are no jobs in the republic. So most youth tend to get out at night to try get into illegal activities. And the people who are protecting us from these illegal activities being practiced by some youth are the police officers. They
Mhm.
literally risk their life the whole night to fight with people who are actually gangs. So that tells you that truly, they need to be also listened to because they're human beings. Uh, they've done good when it comes to protecting the properties of the people,
Mhm.
uh, do with looting from the people, or not from the people, let me say from the gangs, because
Mhm.
any normal citizen with who knows and understands how everything, how things are tough, would not go to loot other people's
Other
property.
people, yeah.
The police
And
are
and
protecting properties in
and
Kenya. That's a fact. We really
and
say thank you to them.
mhm. And Makobura,
And
that okay, go ahead.
and maybe when it comes to protecting life, sometimes people, uh, as much as from what we've read in the constitution, people have a right to life. Sometimes people are wrongly accused, and either they hand into mob justice hands. The police has really protected so many. The police has always escaped with people unharmed
Mhm.
to protect just their lives. That's a good thing, and they've also ensured that there's smooth transition of everything, and that everyone follows law. If you go to our roads, it is them who are ensuring that there's no traffic. They try to
Mhm.
manage the traffic. So they've done a lot
Yeah.
that we saying thank you to them. Uh,
Yeah.
Let it
Uh,
not be seen that only dwelling on the negative side.
even like sometimes, this is why sometimes I do say that some of our leaders even do not appreciate our police officers. Just to mention, you've talked about those who are controlling the traffic. Indeed, we've come across them so many times, um uh even in the roads, when we are driving, we meet them. I tell you, I've met um good police officers in this our country. They are good police officers, I tell you. Even sometimes you decide by yourself and say, okay, officer, niaje leo, si leo hata nikubaie lunch. It's based on how he treats you. He treats you with a lot of professionalism, there was I don't know his name, but like people used to comment at Nyayo House. There was this one police officer that usually, like, everybody who has gone to Nyayo House for his passport would recognize him, and the reason being that the way he treats you when you go there. That is one. There's also a video that I saw from Mombasa of a police officer who, I don't know, he stopped a tuk-tuk guy, and the tuk-tuk guy had his wife was sick in the hospital. The police officers ended up donating some blood for the wife. How those are the police officers. So our police officers too, as much as there are areas that they've not done so well, but there are also areas that they've done so well and they've shown us kindness. So it is now upon ourselves and decide, okay, how can we bridge this gap that we have? We mend those fences, and when we are going for protest, let us go for the cause. Let us not lose lives. So I know there are many, even during this protest, there are those who did amazing job. Yeah, they
Yes.
could. I saw people would go and dance next to them. People would talk to them. They talk very nicely. Uh, you know, and it's painful. Remember the police officer who, I don't know, his brother was shot and like he was crying. And he was police officer. So they also feel the pain that other parents are feeling as a parent or as a brother. So I think it's about that time. And this one calls for our leadership. Look at even the living conditions of the police officers. Some of our police officers are not living pretty
Some
life.
actually, it could be that the level of frustration in them is
Yeah,
making them behave. That's might be a
yeah.
possibility because
Their shelter,
if
the
you
shelter.
analyze if you analyze the lifestyle of a police officer in
Exactly.
Kenya,
Hmm.
they are being treated like people who are not actually, like people who don't belong.
They
Like,
don't belong.
yeah, they live in very pathetic places. You, especially the working environment is somewhere that is not conducive for even someone to live. They
Hmm.
are not, when it comes to payment, they are not being paid a good salary that is matching the kind of work they do, and that has actually made them to get involved into corrupt dealings. And this is why the police force is one of the most corrupt in the Republic of Kenya, because these guys work 24/7, but the salary they're actually being paid peanuts. So the
Yeah.
government has a role to ensure that the police respects. If they want these guys not to behave the way they behave, they
Yeah.
also have to look into their pocket, because remember, pocket money is like everything actually in Kenya, not just in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Money can make help someone have a peaceful mind.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of money that these people are being paid is not enough to sort their financial needs.
Mm-hmm.
It is not enough to solve the financial needs of their families, of their parents. So they are straining, and this is why you see police officers every day, instead of following the law to ensure that they do the inspection of vehicles and everything, what they do is to stand by the roadside and ensure that every vehicle that passes give them some amount of money. So it is high time
Yeah.
that, as much as we're blaming the police officers, we should also blame the employer. The employer has not respected the police force. It has not
Yeah.
respected the service that is being given by the police. So they have a right to demand for that. But as a people or as a citizen, we also have a right to ensure that we fight for them so that they get justice. You
Okay.
know, when it comes to the emotional, I mean, we do suffer emotional. I mean, we do go through a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and human beings. We as human beings, whenever we are not having a peaceful mind, whenever our minds are disturbed, whenever we have issues that are disturbing our mind,
Yeah.
we might not really concentrate on our work, on the provision of service that we have, and that
Mm-hmm.
also affects the productivity of an individual. So I
Yeah.
think uh, we need to consider as a people that we fight for these people in the force, so that issues of emotional problems that they are getting are
Yeah.
sorted, and it's to be sorted when they're also listened to.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense that the head of the police is being paid almost 1 million, and then the police being paid 18,000. It doesn't really make sense at all. At all. As
Yeah.
much as, of course, we have these issues and levels of police, and depending on so many things, but it. There's no any justification.
Yeah.
There's from, let's say in high school, let's say a high school teacher should be paid 40,000, just an immediate. A teacher was just got into
Mm-hmm.
that. We understand that job levels, but it is not wise to start police officers with that low amount of money.
Low amount. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
should
Makobura. Um, I don't know whether you have something
maybe
to. Yeah.
before I allow me to add something. I've seen that Stilen has written something here that I think the government should reconsider the qualifications for joining the police service. It is true. The issue of qualification is a serious thing, yeah. But
Yeah.
again, the public, the citizens have this mentality that all police officers are people who never,
Mm-hmm.
people who are not brilliant or knowledgeable. There's
Mm-hmm.
that mentality. But I think there are people in police officers who really scored high grades. That's a fact. This issue of qualification, I think it should be looked into, so that the whole police force is not accused of people who are not learned, or people who do not really have the knowledge. So it should be
And
relooked into. And again, the issue of I mean, giving chance to people from specific areas. The issue
yeah,
of corruption when it comes to selection of actually most of them are not being selected on
based on
merit.
the merit. By the way, they're
Yeah,
not. Yeah, it is
yeah.
about money that you give, as high as around
And
400,000, 500,000. Just imagine 500,000 for you to be in a police service.
and who you know. So you know when you get there with pressure. You need to refund the money that you got. You need
Yeah.
to ensure that your life also goes on as usual. You
Mhm.
need to do some investment. So this whole thing becomes too burden. It's become burden to these people. So I think that's the whole thing that makes them behave the way some of them do behave.
Yeah, because they have pressure to return the money, 400,000, and you are getting 18,000. It's not possible, or you are
Yeah,
getting
it is
21,
not.
because I think it's between 18 to 21 starting salary, or 23, and that one is gross. That now when you come to net, the net now, after taking all that, you end up going home with small amount of money that even cannot keep your family. So I think, as much as they've not done well in some areas in terms of crowd and forceful and all that, but we also have to look at them, because after taking off that uniform, you become a normal Kenyan. There's no uh, there's no leverage whereby the 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 suffering that normal Kenyans are suffering, you cannot go through because you're a police officer. No, you will have to go, because it's the same country, the same president, the same, everything is the same in the same
They
environment. So
actually suffer more than the normal citizen because
yeah,
they have a timetable of work.
yeah,
Then they are, they have a rule to follow, some rules to follow
yeah,
when it comes to how they give their service. So
yeah.
it is much. We need to have a renegotiation with the government, and as a people we need to sit down and understand the people. We need to understand these divisions. We need to understand the police force, and there's need to have a good relationship between the police and the people, because that would actually ensure that all this negativity, all this bad blood that you're having between the people and the police,
Mhm.
is sorted. So it can only be sorted in situation or in areas where there's good communication and understanding between the citizens and the police.
Okay, and somebody says, saizi ukiulizwa who is the enemy of you, mtu atasema ni polisi. Na sidhani kama polisi ni adui wetu, na inafaa tu ile tukue tu na mazungumzo, tuelewane, tujue kwamba tunaweza kuwa na jamii bora vipi katikati ya wananchi na wale wanaolinda usalama. Unajua, hiyo ni muhimu sana, na hii pia inakaa ni viongozi wetu pia lazima waangazie hii maneno, kwa sababu kila wakati mimi sijawahi sikia maviongozi wakipigana
You know,
ama
you know
wakileta
these
sheria.
police officers,
Yeah,
the people in leadership are also messing up. They keep promising them an increase of salary and everything. But you
but they
know, when
don't.
you're a police officer, you know these police officers most of the time they do interact with the people in leadership a lot. Some of them are their bodyguards.
Yes,
Whenever you're a bodyguard of someone who earns million, so you see how they misuse money, right, left and center. They promise you that they are going to increase your salary. They don't. What do you expect? Of course, you also tell yourself that I also have issues, financial obligations to meet.
yes,
So that is
yeah,
why the high level of corruption within the police force, because these guys interact with, some of them are bodyguards. Most of times they guard the these public institutions where they see leaders coming with money, people meeting them. They see
yeah.
leaders making deals. They see leaders paying a lot of money. So they also tend to maybe follow the same route.
Okay, Makobura, thank you so much. We are trying if we can have a show maybe in the next 30 minutes, if we can. If you remember, we were following up on a guest that we we are not sure, but I've seen some call here. I just want to confirm whether it will be available. If so, something by around in the next 40 minutes, I will be coming with my guest to have a conversation with him about the situation in the country and his views. So, If any case we come back online, kindly please come and assist us to listen to our view. Makobura, I thank you so much for always coming to discuss about these issues. But this is a conversation that we will keep on having, so that um, we know very well that the police officers are also our brothers. We don't um, have so much hate with them, and we treat them as brothers, and also they also have to understand us. Let us develop a positive way of communicating such that we can understand one another, because at the end of it all, you are our brothers, fathers, sisters. You know, we have relatives who are police officers, and you know, um, we have to make sure that we are there and talk. Makobura, thank you so much once again for showing up, and let's hope that our guest come. If our guest doesn't come, you usually have your 10 o'clock show, so I hope you will be able to do it.
Yeah, so maybe let's look into that first. If he comes, we'll get back. If he doesn't come, we'll get back tomorrow,
Utumishi kwa wote,
depending.
sio kwa serikali. Asante sana baba, tumekusikia. Okay, thank you very much, our viewers, and we will be right back in a few. It depends with how Makobura and how our guest is going to react. Thank you so much. May God bless you and have a nice evening. This is Brother Benson with my co-host Makobura.